Okay, so you're a film photographer in 2026 and you want to avoid making bad purchases yourself. Whether it's film, accessories, cameras, could be anything. Well, luckily for you, I've made plenty of those purchases and I have a lot of regrets. So here's my top 4 most regretted purchases as a film photographer and 4 recommendations for what I think you should buy or do alternatively. Number 4, the Reflex Lab Cold Shoe Light Meter. It is an excellent light meter, and that is all the good I can really say about it after that. What I mean by that is it's really good at metering light, but it does have some caveats. Before we get into those though, just enjoy the sample pictures. It is kind of cumbersome to use. The button menus, they're simple, but you have to memorize what button does what and how long to hold it to access what setting you want to change. It's kind of poorly built. It only has 2 screws holding it together, and if you drop it, if it shakes around in your bag, those screws are going to slowly work themselves out over time, and you're going to get out and go to shoot, and this thing's going to break in 2. And if you lose the screws, you're screwed.
It's over. We are screwed.
The other main issue with it is battery, and not just battery life. It chews through batteries ridiculously fast, especially for having such a simple LCD screen. It's insane how fast it goes through battery. The battery compartment is difficult to access, and then when you finally do access it, the tray is designed upside down, so the battery doesn't stay in the tray when you pull the battery out. It just does that. The other thing that happens, because your brain wants to put the battery in the way it doesn't fall out, is you put the tray in and it either doesn't go in or you jam it in there, and then you have to take it apart to get the battery tray and the battery out. Suboptimal. What I would recommend instead is the LiteMate cold shoe meter. This is the LiteMate Lite 2R. That's what it says on the bottom. I bought the LiteMate specifically because the Reflex Labs meter broke and I needed a meter for the Bronica on my recent trip to Arizona. So here's a few of those sample pictures from that trip. I shot everything from Ektachrome to Gold, Portrait 160, and even some BWXX with a red filter. And I think this meter did a great job with all of it. It is USB-C rechargeable, has like a 10 or 12 hour battery life, has a nice bright OLED display. It has a few other cool features like hyperfocal distance built in. There's a memo for your format and lens, and you can add filter compensation, filter stops, EV compensation. The ISO range on this thing is ridiculous. You can go from ISO 1 up to ISO 8000. So that covers pretty much any film photography scenario you would ever have. If you want to push something to 8000, go for it. This meter has f-stop values from f1 to f64 and shutter stop values from 60 seconds to 1/8000th of a second. So very well covered, very capable meter, and a excellent buy for 80 bucks. Number 3 is the Ars Imago 35mm leader retriever for processing at home. This little device gets inserted to a 35mm film cartridge. You turn it, you hear a little click, you clamp it down and then pull it out, and you get your leader out and you can cut it and develop. What happens though, because this thing is very flexy, as you can see, it wears out and it doesn't grab the film anymore, and you're just stuck fighting it over and over and over again. What I would recommend instead, save a film leader. This is my go-to for retrieving 35mm out of the cassette. It's really simple. You take the cassette, you turn it till you hear the leader click against the lip inside. Ew, that's kind of gross. You lick the end, stick it in the cassette, you turn the cassette forward, it'll pull this leader in, you get it all the way to about there, and then you just pop it out and you grab that leader as it comes out. 80% of the time it works.
60% of the time it works every time.
Where the leader retriever works maybe 20% of the time. So if you process film at home, don't buy the Ars Imago, just save a liter. Licking it is kind of gross, but it saves a lot of headache, a lot of time, and that's what I would recommend. So number 2 is going to be a little controversial unless you've watched my channel for any amount of time, and it's CineStill 400D, specifically the 4x5. Now, it's no secret that I do not like CineStill 400D. I think it is inconsistent. I hate the way it renders green. And for supposedly coming from 250D, I think it looks nothing like 250D. It is overall a massive disappointment. And these photos show my disappointment. Really, I had high hopes for this, and I know I bought way too much of it. But the 4x5 takes all of that to a whole new level by being extremely curly and extremely thin. When you're loading it, if you're not careful, you will crease it and you will bend your negatives. And when you process it at home, the curl is ungodly. It will almost make a full loop on itself if you do not have the right humidity, which is who's humidifying their house to process film. So I wouldn't recommend processing it at home, and if you want to stay in good favor with your lab, I would not recommend sending it to them. What I would recommend is literally any other 4x5 film. Portra 160, thick, heavy, consistent. You know it, you love it, it's great. Provia, it'll hurt your wallet, but it won't hurt your feelings. FPP infrared black and white. Haven't shot it yet, but I can guarantee you it is better than 400D. Now number 1, and by far the most offensive at $149, though I remember it being more. The Negative Supply 97 CRI backlight. Part of this is on me. I bought it right before I was moving, and I did not get the chance to test it until after the return period was closed. That being said, when I finally opened the box, I found that it does not come with a power supply. Though Negative Supply will sell you one for $20 extra. It does not have an on-off switch. It is extremely dim. The light is extremely uneven.
So you can see here on the lights, just recording through the iPhone on the Blackmagic camera app, Spectra color dim, but to be expected with that channel separation layer. Negative Supply, you can see the unevenness in the light just a little bit, and it's very dim, almost as dim as the Spectra color. Then we have the CSLite Plus, very bright, can't get the phone to expose for that light. So then going up to the camera monitor, you can see there's obviously a difference between each of them, and that the that the Negative Supply light is very dim, but the real difference shows here. Spectra color is obviously a little bit low, but then the Negative Supply light, remember, this is $150, and it is crazy uneven. And it's dimmer than the CSLite, which is only like $80.
It is strangely heavy for what it is, considering it is 3D printed plastic, and not the good kind of 3D printed plastic. This is the cheap crap that you see all the ridges on, and it's really ugly, and it just has a cheap hobbyist kind of finish. So I don't know why it weighs so much, but the finish is gross for what it is.
It's bad. It's real bad.
This is disgusting, and I would never recommend this or another Negative Supply product to anybody. The light I would recommend instead does not cover 4x5, but it is consistent. It is bright. This is the Spectra color version. I would recommend either or. Spectra color if you're going to do color negatives, but if you want to spend a little bit less, I would get the CSLite Plus. Both are very good. I use both regularly, and I'm extremely happy with how they work. Apps like FilmLab are starting to support it in their backlight catalog, so it makes film scanning even easier For $80 for the CSLite or $99 for the Spectracolor, I would say you can't go wrong versus the $150 for the negative supply. Okay, so quick update from me here while I'm doing the edit. The CSLite is now $45, which is an absolutely crazy deal and just makes this an obvious buy. These run off of USB-A power, and they do have their own little switches integrated to turn it on and off or switch between color temperatures on the CSLite. Okay, so that's my top 4 regrets for film photography purchases. Hopefully this has helped you avoid bad purchases or given you some insight on what to avoid. What are some film photography purchases that you regret? Why don't you let me know in the comments below, and I will see you in the next one. Oh, and thanks for watching. I appreciate you. Are you a film photographer and you hate wasting money on shit you don't need?